TikTok compilation that might wake you up and change your reality. Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
People are freaking out after 9 pillars of light were seen in the sky above a coastal town in Japan recently. And it wasn't just one picture. These 9 lights were seen from multiple different angles. So, what the hell is that? Well, the man who originally posted the photos said that it's actually a rare natural phenomenon called fishing firelight pillars. And he said that it's caused by powerful lights placed on fishing boats to attract larger catches. As temperatures cool overnight, crystals sometimes form in the air, and then the boat's lights reflect off of the crystals, creating this. It's never just as simple as aliens, is it?
I seen this, I thought it was Judgment Day. Or maybe Project Blue Beam. What do you think? What? That silverback has the patience of a saint. If anyone is still deciding on having kids, show them this.
Shy has most intimidated you?
How you been around Hardy? Hardy's a bit of a gorilla on his set.
What do you mean a bit of a gorilla?
Well, he runs a set, you know, he pee in the corners. It's his set. You know it when you get there. Yeah, don't feel like a shared space. It feels like his space. And he's a very good actor. And also super loving, but on a set, you're in his church.
I like Tom Hardy. He sounds like my type of people to be a friend.
Find that most of these stories of saints in the faith were f-ups. Full-blown f-ups. They weren't perfect people who did perfect shit their whole lives and then wound up... The requirement for their sainthood was the f-up.
They've been there.
They had to have experienced real negative shit in their life to be able to have this other thing, this salvation, this hero's journey.
And when I look at Christ on the cross, I think, is that a joyful man? As he bleeds out and dies on a cross for humanity, is that man joyful? And I think the answer is yes. That even in his suffering, that's what Christ represents for me, meaningful suffering.
My purpose in life isn't to be happy no more. That's what my purpose used to be, which is such a aim in life. My aim in life in totality, my whole purpose for existing in life was to be happy. And that's not my purpose anymore.
And now?
Yeah, my purpose now is to be useful.
You know, the story of Christ is that God became man for our betterment. So that means that he is the ultimate example, the supreme priest, the ultimate redeemer. If I look at Christ on the cross, I think that's very instructive. If you can tap into how you can use your suffering to help other people, that is maximum joy.
I recently made the switch from pursuing happiness to I'm going for legacy. I want to build something that leaves something behind for my family when I'm gone.
That's my nose and my mustache on the ground, right by my wrist.
In October of 2016, 61-year-old Lee Brook was hunting in the mountains of Wyoming when he finally spotted and took down an elk. Already exhausted and quite a far walk away from his camp, he decided to leave the elk there and return for the elk meat first thing the following morning, which he did. But when he arrived back there, he noticed something wasn't right. The elk was laying on its other side, meaning something had moved it. And it was at this moment he knew he was in life-threatening danger. A 6-foot-tall, 420-pound grizzly bear had already found this same elk carcass and claimed it as its own. So Lee was now tampering with what this grizzly bear had claimed. Before he could even think about the gravity of this situation, he turned around and saw this gigantic grizzly bear barreling towards him, and he turned to run away, and he didn't make it 2 steps, he says, before this grizzly bear used its jaws to grab onto his backpack that he had on his back and lift him up into the air off of his feet. And as he had him in the air, it used its huge paw to swipe right at his face and knocked him unconscious. After this, it slung him to the ground by his backpack and kind of just continuously mauled him as they both slid down the slope of this mountain 50 yards until finally Lee's body came to a crashing halt when it hit against a large log. And this is where Lee came back to
Wow.
consciousness, and he says he couldn't see very well, but all he knows is that he felt these whiskers brushing against his inner ear and the side of his face, and he knew that this bear was on him. And some voice in his head told him, do not play dead. Despite everything you've heard about how you need to play dead, do not play dead, or you will be killed, because this bear is going to figure out sooner or later that you're not dead yet. So at that point, he uses all his might and stands up, and all he has in his hand is this deboning knife, kind of a small steak knife, butcher knife, and he uses it 4 times and sinks it into this bear. He doesn't know exactly where at the time because he can't see. He says he can see the ground below him, but he cannot see in front of him because of all the blood that is clouding his eyes. But wherever he hits, it's enough to make this bear back off and run away. So in these next few moments, Lee is kind of quickly surveying the ground. He sees his backpack over here to the side in the snow. It's all crumpled up, which he understands why. He knows he was picked up by this gigantic bear in its jaws, so obviously the backpack is just gnarled to pieces. But right beside it, he sees something very shocking and disturbing. Lee saw his nose and mustache all fully intact and attached, just laying in the snow. And at that moment, he realized the extent of what this bear did during those 50 yards that it mauled him down the side of this mountain. So thinking quickly, he grabs it, picks it up, and puts it in his pocket. As he's fleeing, it would take 5 hours of him screaming and trying to hold himself together before finally he was reunited with his hunting buddies, who then called for emergency services. It would take another 7 hours after emergency services arrived to get him to the nearest hospital. Once he arrived there, they took his nose that he had saved in his pocket and attached it to an artery in his right arm to keep it alive and blood pumping into it. It remained there for months until finally they were able to reattach it. Doctors even had to use a portion of his scalp with his hair on his head attached to it to recreate his mustache, as you can see here in this actual photo. But ultimately, Lee never gave up and even went for another hunt on the same mountains, on the same path, to the same exact scene of the attack, where he was mauled 2 years later, just to show strength and bravery.
That is wild. And he went back again? That's crazy. He is lucky he didn't bleed out. God was with him. Perhaps the cold weather kept him from bleeding so much.
Scarlett Blake, stand up. For the murder of Jorge Martin Carreño, I sentence you to imprisonment for life. The minimum term will be 24 years, less the 196 days spent in custody awaiting trial. The minimum term will therefore be 23 years and 169 days. There will be concurrent terms of 4 months for causing unnecessary suffering to a protected animal and 2 months for criminal damage. The statutory surcharge applies. Go with the officer.
People who hurt animals are disgusting, and I'm genuinely curious as to how the judge determines whether a person serves a sentence concurrently or consecutively. Can anyone explain in the comment? Thank you. People are scared to the large dog, but he's not aware. Just as people are scared of your potential and you don't know it.
The worst celebrity like that you've been around is like the most full of sin. I know no sin is greater, but like just was like, damn, this
Clive Davis. Devil incarnate. Clive Davis. He Janis Joplin. He blackmailed Betty Wright so she wouldn't tell anybody that he Janis Joplin. He killed Whitney Houston.
You don't understand. It's all connected. Everyone is involved, even the ones you don't think, including the government. That's why they let Diddy be.
Okay, so everyone is talking about this Terrence Howard Joe Rogan interview. And I'm not gonna lie, it blew me away. But I was also a little skeptical because I've heard a lot of really good talkers in my life. And I thought maybe he's just knows what he's talking about. Nah, this dude is a genius. Look at this. Okay, so Terrence Howard once held a patent called the World of Windows, which you might have heard in the interview. According to Howard, this patent serves as the cornerstone for many major companies, aka VR headsets. But you guys, he abandoned the patent. His patent, the World of Windows, ended up bringing in over $7 trillion. That's right, trillion. You don't believe me? Look, there it is. Terrence Deshaun Howard. Look it up. That's his real name. And he filed the patent and abandoned it. I mean, take a look at some of these pictures that he made in his patent. I mean, it's crazy. He had literally, I wouldn't say invented, but was very close to inventing VR. I mean, it's insanity. I mean, the way his mind is unbelievable. Like, I'm not joking around when I say this dude needs to be protected at all costs. I mean, he is debunking modern day physics. Very impressive, very intelligent guy.
Terrence Howard was probably given the opportunity many weren't, a chance to walk away. He should whip that trick.
Most dangerous martial art for the street. I get asked this a lot of times, and this is something I actually have never trained, and it's Filipino knife fighting, or knees. And the reason I think it's the most dangerous is because everybody carries knives with them. I was a instructor at an MMA gym about 15 years ago, and they had an arnis class, and the guy's a Filipino guy, out of shape, didn't look dangerous at all, always trying to get me to come train with him, super nice guy. So I come in to train with him one day just to be nice to him. And he's like attacked me, and we're just playing around a little bit, and he has the knives that mark you, and he hit me a few times with it, and I'm like, I back up, and I'm like, hey man, I'm okay, like you didn't kill me, like nothing's dead. And he goes, look again. He goes, I cut you on every ligament of your body. Like literally, I'd have never moved again a day in my life. And at that point, I realized how dangerous that style was.
Try Silat. It is more crazier than Arnis because it's included. But I prefer Glock Jitsu. But you do you.
One time I took a bag of mushrooms to a party and people had never taken them there. And so gave them to everybody. And then I was like, we're going to play hide and go seek, right? You guys go hide and I'm going to count, right? I'm going to count to like 700. And they all went and hid and I never went and found them. And then I went home. Dude, can you imagine that?
Did they know you were giving them psychedelic mushrooms?
Dude, that's how I felt about it.
That's a pretty good trick.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's basically like Chris Angel.
They're probably still waiting for you.
Dude,
Probably.
There's some guy in a closet still wondering where you are.
Oh.
Yup, those kids are still missing to this day. That nurse reaction, that unbridled joy, that's the stuff we live for. It's beautiful. Small acts of kindness can move the earth, folks.
Heard about the $1 filet mignon? It's true. You first gotta make one from scratch. You can't buy it. I made a mold out of nothing. For that, I use a sharp knife. The key here is to pack it up with meat. I'm using the cheapest ground beef I can find. Now season it like a normal steak. Don't forget the edges. And put it on a hot skillet. And if you want it to taste good, make sure you baste it with butter, thyme, and garlic. Oh yes. Now even though this thing started with ground beef, when I sliced it open, the fibers combined. And it ended up like this. How? Science. Pretty good filet mignon.
If you add a small bit of bone, then it comes T-bone steak. Expensive restaurants right now are going, write that down, while still trying to charge regular filet mignon prices.
Rushed inside and told to put our heads on our knees. And that if we filmed any of the journey, we'd be in serious danger. As the gates of the place opened, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But when I got inside, it was sheer luxury. But there was a problem.
Something must be going down because he keeps getting phone calls. Got a feeling he's going to scoot off anytime now. ¿Todo bien?
¿Cuánto tiempo más o menos ocupan?
Vamos cerrar rápido.
After some further reassurances, Luis was ready to show me around.
Pues tenemos jardín por los dos lados, un pequeño jardín. Tenemos también un tobogán para los niños. Cuando viene mi niño, pues aquí juega, se pasea. Este es para personas un poco más grandes.
Can you believe that you're 28 years old and you have 17 properties and this is only the second biggest?
No, porque pues es algo que uno no espera. De chiquito uno dice voy a tener esto, voy a tener lo otro, pero pues nunca llegué a pensar tener tanto. Gracias a Dios ya lo logré y pues aquí estamos y voy por más.
How many properties are you trying to get?
No tengo una meta exacta, yo voy por las que alcance antes de que me quiten la vida o la pierda de alguna u otra manera, para poderle dejar a mi familia todo.
Luis was talking to me because he wanted to share his side of the story. This is what I'd wanted to see all along. The life behind the drugs, the murders, and ultimately, why Luis chose to be a narco. But it's not just about living the high life. These properties are also a way for Luis to launder his money.
Pues me gusta porque pues tienen buen espacio, me gustan por las escaleras en las que salen normalmente los recién casados o las quinceañeras, pues también tiene su sala de DJ.
Las escaleras son loco.
Tan chilas, tan bonitas.
¿Es bien para Instagram?
Y pues sí, es lo que yo busco, más que nada para poder lavar dinero y hacer dinero también. ¿Qué resolvió?
Estaba pensando ir y venir, nomás para cerrar, que todo esté bien. Voy y vengo.
We'd only just begun our tour when a member of Luis's team interrupted us and tried to usher him away.
Everyone's freaking out that we're here and they're asking us to leave very quickly. They said that if we revealed the location, we wouldn't be allowed to leave the country. They've let journalists in, which they don't usually do, and now it seems like they're regretting it a little bit.
Being a narco means you're always paranoid. Luis has a team watching his every move, and at any moment, he could get spooked or disappear.
His comandante seems to be saying they want us to leave. I don't know who it is, but the kind of big boss wants us to get out of here very quickly, basically.
I left wondering who was ultimately calling the shots. There were people behind the scenes giving Luis orders, maybe even El Mayo himself. Luis would never tell me, but it revealed how much the cartel controlled what goes on in their city.
Bro thinks people won't recognize him with a simple mask. I don't think he's the jefe. He doesn't have that, boss vibe.
Hey, excuse me, how much do you make a year in Bali?
It really depends how much trash I collect, but last year my non-profit raised just over $1 million.
Crazy question. Can I come to work with you today?
Only if you built in here with me.
You want me to get in there?
My name's Sam, and I've been picking up trash for 15 years here in Bali.
Got my uniform on now.
Welcome to the rivers. So every day we clean 200 of these guys to stop plastics here before it goes out into the ocean. Everything from, bags to drinks, and this is filled with diapers. Whatever you can imagine, it's in here. Full bag, 5 minutes. This is 1 day's worth of trash.
Yeah, that's insane.
And unfortunately, the big problem is the lack of waste management infrastructure.
What happens to it once you guys recycle it?
We sort it into 30 materials so that we can try to recycle every type of waste. So we're now taking plastic bags and trying to recycle it into products. How does it feel?
I mean, it's a gross job, a really gross job.
Since we've started, we've collected 4 million pounds of plastics. This is where we're turning plastic into products. Every day, clean plastic comes here from our other facilities, and then we turn it into chairs. So this sheet is blue plastic bags.
This was bags.
Probably 800 bags in this sheet. We're CNCing it. These are the different components that make up the chair. Now we're putting together 8 chairs right now. Each chair is 2,000 bags that most people consider trash. Who would have known that it can become a beautiful piece of furniture that's gonna fund back more cleanups? 36% of the 2 million kilos we collected is plastic bags. We either throw that back in the landfill, which most likely will fall back into the river, or we try to come up with a way to recycle it, and that's what these chairs are.
Man, this guy can be very proud. Getting rich and in the meanwhile help the planet out. Respect. I've seen them a few times here. Cool dudes.
Tell people that they have to lower their cholesterol, and we have a pill to do it, and it will protect you from having heart disease, which everyone's being told this is hereditary. What you guys don't know is that the moment you start taking the statin drug itself lowers the amount of cholesterol your body can make no matter how much fat you're consuming.
Right.
And did you know at home, everybody, that cholesterol is the backbone required by your hormone glands in your body to make most of your hormones? I mean, you need cholesterol to make testosterone, men. And 6 months later, you're going to go to your medical doctor and tell them, look, doc, I'm glad my cholesterol numbers are better, but I just have no interest in sleeping with my wife. The MD says, oh, that's okay. You're in your 40s. This is normal for your age. It's a little blue pill to help you with that. When in fact, the cholesterol drug you started 6 months ago doesn't allow your body to now make testosterone because you need cholesterol to make testosterone. And said fat is bad for you, causes cholesterol to go up, which will cause you to have heart disease and increase your risk of that. Take this pill. You take that pill. Now you lower your amount of cholesterol to offset the side effects of the statin drug and the low-fat diet that you're now on. Okay, that's one. Did you know serotonin, the hormone in every male and female's body, needs cholesterol to be made? Right. So now you can't make serotonin.
Wow.
Serotonin is your happy, feel-good hormone. Now you can't make it because you don't have cholesterol to make enough of it. What are you going to report to your medical doctor within 6 months to a year after starting your statin drug? You're going to tell them you're depressed, you're anxious, and guess what your MD's going to tell you? That's okay, this is normal. A lot of people experience this. A lot of people in my practice have this after 6 months of coming in here and getting their cholesterol checked. We put them on this. Antidepressants are still the #1 most prescribed drugs on the planet next to cholesterol drugs. Can't you see how that fits in? All right, so what happens when you tell the world to stop eating so much salt? Well, your kidneys take all of your blood and they filter it into urine and they excrete all whatever it is that you don't need in the body. It removes all the excess water out of your body and cleanses the body. Your kidneys have cells inside of them to convert uric acid into urine and filter out your blood so you can urinate. Your kidneys can't even filter anything in your blood without sodium, potassium pumps. Salt. Okay, so these are called salt potassium pumps. Okay, yeah. Well, your kidneys require salt to even work. Deprive the kidneys of salt, guess what happens to your kidney function? Do the pumps get better or worse? What do you think? And what happens when your body starts retaining water because your kidneys no longer can filter out urine out of your body? Retain it. Will the added water in your body put pressure on your blood vessels and on your heart or reduce it?
Yeah, pressure.
It increases it. Increased water, increased pressure. If you increase pressure, what's going to happen to your blood pressure? Now, you're not eating salt and your blood pressure is going up. If you tell the whole society to restrict from the time you're born how much salt you consume, all of you, because you're mammals and designed the same way and all have salt potassium pumps in your kidneys, you all over time will produce high blood pressure. And your medical doctor's got to take your blood pressure and go, oh, your blood pressure's high. We got to actually give you a high blood pressure. And make sure you don't eat salt, Mary. The FDA in America says the maximum amount of salt every day that an American should consume is 2,300 milligrams a day. What does the American Heart Association say? That's in the same country. It says we do not agree with the FDA's salt amount. They believe it should be 1,100 milligrams a day. That's less than half of what the FDA says. How come they don't agree? The Tel Aviv University study in 2016, they published the lowest amount of salt a day that keeps your blood pressure normal, they found in their study, is 6,000 milligrams. It's 6,000 to 9,000. They even said as you get to 9,000 milligrams, the results of blood pressure were better. What amount of salt is in every saline fluid bag in a hospital? Medical profession knows salt's bad for you. They tell you it's bad for you. An ambulance came to pick you up. Before you get to the hospital, you will have an IV drip of salt water going into your veins. Before you even get there. Before a doctor walks in the room, does an EKG or ECG or any other testing on you, they're going to give you salt without question. They know you need salt. Now, why do they know you need salt?
Why do they know we need it? Yeah.
Because they know everybody on earth is eating less salt than they need.
Also, people need to eat the right salt. Celtic sea salt, not table salt.
Knowing an American what grocery prices in Canada are like.
You can buy one bulb of garlic for 50 cents at home. $4 for two. $7 for a head of cauliflower, a single head, and half of these are moldy. Cinnamon spiced honey, $18 a jar.
That's wild.
Two for $17. Sparkling water, two for $17. Sparkling water. One isn't a price thing, it's just look at what French people call goldfish.
Crystal Leon.
Just get myself the tiniest goddamn bundle of, for $30, dried flowers. For $30.
Why isn't anybody bringing up the fact that all these goods overpriced are not going to be sold and being wasted away? Maybe this is why I've seen a lot of Canadians and Americans too move to Bali in the past 3 years. What if you need to use the bathroom while you're down there alone in the box? And if someone T-bones the bus, you'll be the first one impacted. I don't like it.
What a monster. What a monster. What the? Wow. I don't even know what to say. So close to him. Yep. Okay, guys. Crossing the road right in front of us.
Wow.
Power five.
If you're from the area, please share your experience. Thank you.
Yo, what's up in Indonesia and here is an orangutan in your host.
Wait, what? Bro. Wait, we just woke up and blood is in the yard.
Bro just came in.
Bake off. Bro, there's an orangutan in the toilet, bro.
Wait.
Oh he's washing his hands with the soap. He's washing his hands with the soap. He's using the soap to wash his hands. No way. Bro has got
Good, got tasty.
and he's got Fanta as well. Nah, this is bad. What do we do? He opened it, bro. He opened the Sprite. No, he's actually drinking Sprite.
Nah.
He's actually drinking Sprite.
This must be at the eco resort in Bukit Lawang, an orangutan conservation area. They roam freely but are mostly tame, and there are rangers to look after them. Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
Me or the Russian army is going full dystopian. As you can see in this video, some Russian soldiers were spotted wearing Helicontex Wagman roll ponchos to reduce their thermal signature. Others go into battle with electronic warfare kits to jam drones. And some of them clear enemy trenches using these homemade shotguns straight out of Fallout. And after turtle tanks, now the porcupine. This time a cage was welded on iron sheets to fend off FPV drones, plus a KMT-7 mine roller to cross minefields. And the driver inside is controlling the tank with an external camera. Meanwhile, this motor crew disappears by sliding this structure after firing. The Russian army also developed these tracked robots equipped with machine guns, but whose platform could also be used for demining or transportation, such as evacuating wounded soldiers or bringing supplies to the front.
This video has fully convinced me that dystopian has lost all meaning.
Please explain to me why we have 7, 8, and 9-year-old kids going to school for 6 to 8 hours a day, stuck in a classroom, sitting in a chair, being groomed to just be another worker for somebody else. And then the teachers have the audacity to send home homework at the end of the day. If you can't get done what you need to get done within the school day, it should not come home with my children. Parents and siblings only get a finite amount of time to spend with their children each day when they get home. And there's more to life than just schoolwork. You've got extracurricular activities, you've got sports, you've got church events. And the last thing my elementary kids need is to spend 8 hours in a classroom and then come home and have to do more schoolwork.
Learn academics at school. Life lessons are learned at home. But these days, parents are making iPad kids. If you know, you know.
We were able to, at night, get a private tour of St. Peter's Basilica. Is the public allowed down here? No, not this way. Father Enzo Fortunato took us to visit St. Peter's tomb, and we got to see things up close that very few people get to see. And do you touch your parents? That made it all the more kind of emotional, and I learned a lot more about what is considered one of the holiest places in the Catholic faith.
When Jesus talks about how to pray, one of the fundamental things is to give us this day our daily bread. And that tells me that there is a need to go to God every day. But sometimes we can get complacent. And I think back to the story in Exodus with the Israelites in the wilderness, how God gives them food for the day and he gives them this thing called manna, which is basically what they eat. But some of them try to hold on to the manna because they're worried that they won't be able to eat tomorrow. And so when tomorrow rolls over, it gets stale and ultimately they can't eat it. And for me, that shows that we cannot hold on to the bread from yesterday for today. Like, there is a daily bread for a reason, and we need to go to God every day to be sustained by him, because every day has its own challenges, every day has its own worries, but God gives us what we need for each day.
Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34.
You guys have seen a tree stump rot from the inside out, right? Looks just about like that. And here, southwestern United States, different parts of the world, looks like clean cuts on these giant trees. You might say, well, how could that possibly happen? Like, somebody would have to be gigantic and have huge equipment to make those kind of cuts, right? Those look like tree stumps. That looks like a clean cut at an angle. Another one like Devil's Postpile. Book of Enoch talks about titans that were 3,000 L's in height. And an L actually is equivalent to 11,250 feet. It's like 45 inches is 1 L.
Wow.
Well, that's an 11,250 foot tall titan. And someone that big, theoretically, could cut down a giant tree. And many ancient cultures believed in the tree of life, which was located in the center of the world. Norse mythology, Mesoamerican, Mesopotamian, Hindu, Siberian, Central Asian, and biblical tradition all talk about the tree of life. And I believe this is real. Maybe next time we can talk about the 13 skulls and the Anunnaki who came to Earth to mine the Mariana Trench. Engineered DNA to create a race of slaves called humans to help them mine for gold. And then they struck water in the
I agree, they look like cut trees. But where did all the wood go that was cut down?
Is the most deceitful old man in Japan, using a spray gun to heat black garbage bags to create wrinkles, then pressing them with a wet towel. He can make them look like real seaweed, but don't think this is his only trick. If you don't watch till the end, you would never guess what he is making. He spreads green liquid on a baking tray, then adds a layer of white on top. After baking it dry in the oven, he tears it all off and rolls it into green strips. A green onion is made. Cut green onions into diced green onions and set aside. Next, he mixes pink and white together, gives it a few random stirs and puts it in the oven. After baking and spreading it on
Wow,
the
look
table,
at that.
he uses scissors to cut it into small pieces, making beef cubes. The old man takes some yellow liquid, adds some white wax liquid and a bit of water. After baking it dry in the oven, he crushes it all with chopsticks, making a fried egg. The old man pours some white plastic pellets into a bowl, spreads sauce over the white plastic pellets. After mixing them evenly, he combines them with the previously prepared materials. A visually appealing beef and egg fried rice is completed.
He is a food advertiser. He makes food look better than real food does in pictures.
Something's going on in the ocean and they're not trying to tell us. This should be like super broadcasted. Listen.
Hoping to capture today. If not in their nets, then at least on camera. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's do it. A couple months earlier, a similar effort revealed a stunning sight. Thousands of pickle-shaped organisms called pyrosomes filled the ocean as far as the eye could see. When we saw how many there were, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is mind-boggling. This is definitely something that we haven't seen before, and we don't know why they're here. That's the big question now. From California to Alaska, the ocean is so loaded with pyrosomes, they're clogging the nets of researchers and fishermen. At first it was irritation because they were clogging our research nets, and then it was kind of like, wow, okay, what is going on here? Why are there so many? Why now? There's pyrosomes mingling with schools of fish and becoming fish food. Biologists are finding them inside the bellies of fish and whales.
Yuck.
But normally, they're found in tropical waters.
Do you not find that just a little strange that our fish is eating that shit and it's all in our oceans, but we have not heard anything about it anywhere? Not even on TikTok? Crazy. Oh my God.
Pyrosomes move with the current. Sounds like the earth may be shifting if they've never seen them there. Interesting.
We got the first ever grill for a dog. These are the grills we made, and he's excited about wearing them, I could tell. So the dog's name is Fox, and he has a little bit of an underbite. He was never really shy about it, but now he could really flex it. He's got bottoms, and he's got his canines done in gold. And if you want to get molded and get a grill like Fox, you could come down to Trax Northwest or Trax New York City. We're in the Diamond District in New York, and we're in the SeaTac area in the Northwest.
Holler at your boy, man. Get your tops and bottoms right here. Trax Northwest.
I'd be scared of my dog swallowing them. If anything, get the titanium permanents like military dogs get.
FBI just busted a gigantic operation where one man was responsible for stealing millions of dollars worth of cars and selling them to the Mexican cartel. The details are slightly unclear as of right now, but what we do know is crazy, and I have no idea how it went on for as long as it did. So allegedly, a Houston man named Kenneth Westbrook was using social media to unwillingly recruit people into this operation. He'd find unsuspecting people on Instagram, and then he would ask them to rent a car for him on Turo. Why did they trust this random stranger in their DMs? Well, apparently it's because he had money spreads on his public Instagram account. I'm not even joking. So they would rent the car for him, he would go and pick it up, and then he would have them driven down to Mexico where he would then sell them to cartel members. And just like that, the car was gone. Victims were literally left dazed and confused. He would just ignore any future messages with them and repeat the process over and over and over again. Obviously, the scheme wasn't very complicated, but somehow it lasted over a year. and more than 24 people fell for it, and he managed to smuggle at least 25 cars down to Mexico. Turo had to reimburse owners over $1.5 million. For whatever reason, most of the cars they stole were Jeeps, and 5 of them were already recovered down in Mexico. But Westbrook has been apprehended and he's facing up to 20 years in federal prison. I don't know, I just think it's so crazy he got away with this for over a year. And even crazier that he could have never gotten caught if he just stopped at like 10.
Okay, so did he pay the people that rented the cars? Because it doesn't make sense if they just handed over the cars. What do you think?
I found this bell in a forest. What will happen when I ring?
What made you think so this was the right idea? This is not like shopping at IKEA. You never know what you might get with this little piece of ringingization, you know? You don't understand the complications, provocations, implications. When you do this, you know? I ain't have no smart, see? Go sit down on your arms, see? Go put yourself back in your yard. Your ears is too hard. Hard. I just ring up the bell like it's your neighbor. No, man, let me tell you something. You not meet your savior when you ring that, you know. That is trouble waiting to happen. I shall take this hand and give you one piece of slap. You don't think that this is a little bit scary? You should be more weary. I don't know why nobody want to listen to me, you know. No one want to listen to me. I just want to make everybody have peace.
If I hear a bell in the forest, my shoulder's gonna hit my ears, and I'm not stopping till I figure out exactly how far over yonder is.
Think New York City
Save
sucks?
your money. New York City sucks, bro. You crazy?
Why?
Why? Take a look around, my man. Take a look around, son. You crazy?
It looks fine to me.
This is not a vacation destination. If you went on vacation, are you gonna be happy
Talk
right
to the
now?
camera, let them know.
If you're on vacation right now, you're gonna be happy?
In New York?
In New York?
Tell them what's
Hell no.
Tell them what's the
It's not
problem.
what you think it is.
Tell them
It is not what you think it is. New York's supposed to be the big city of dreams. New York's supposed to be the city of all the parties. None of that's happening out here. Garbage, migrants,
migrants?
Nothing.
You said prostitution?
Prostitution,
Yo, some
rampant out here.
people might want that, bro. You never know.
Well, if they want it, but that don't make the city popping for everybody else.
That's a fact. So what's your solution? What you gonna do?
Huh?
What are you gonna do? You gonna leave the city?
I ain't leaving nowhere. Son. This is where the money's at.
Ah, it sucks, but the money's
The
here.
money's there,
I hear
baby.
that.
It's just raining, bro. I can guarantee whatever is in that cup did not come with the cup originally.
I want everybody to look at this mugshot right here that is going viral. It literally says North Carolina man's mugshot is going viral. I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was looking at a Caribbean baddie. When you look at this shorty, do you see a man at all? This name right here is Jaquavius. With a name like Jaquavius, toting Smith & Wessons and posting on the block and selling drugs. Out on booty shorts popping his ass like the twerk team. Like, imagine you meet a girl and you see her in the mall and walk up to her and she tells you her name is Jaquavius. Now, I know a lot of you this down, so I asked the group chat. I asked them a simple question. How many shots y'all need to take this down? These lied in my face. I'll be real, they gave good reasoning. But I speak for every man when I say if it's good as new, it's good to use. I speak for everyone when I say we're taking this down.
They're gonna reference bro in prison.
You look Asian?
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Give him assignment. Go to the refrigerator, give him assignment. Yeah, please assignment. What's up, boy?
Oh my god, look at that face. She's
Steve
perfect. Dogzilla.
was in a shot glass. That's like 200 hits right there. He's driving with a couple of girls. Get pulled over. They want to search the car. He said, but luckily, like, you open the back. He's like, well, we had nothing in it. Like, it was like, they were like, all right, there's like nothing here. But they pulled them out and had them standing on the side of the road. He said, while we're standing there, the cop goes, what's this? He said, are you guys, you've been drinking? He's like, no. He said, that's from last night. That was in the hotel room. He said, it was just a glass. I just brought it in. Put his finger in it and went, and he said, literally, when he went like that, both of us were like,
oh shit.
And so he went like that, and the guy goes, walked over, said, okay, you guys are good. He goes, so we get in the van, we drive. He's like, so they go immediately, and they're running around the concert looking for the girls to say, we all have to get out of here.
Jesus.
This guy just got dosed himself with 200 hits of acid. He said at some point, while they're trying to get to their car through the crowd without seeing anybody, he said there's a couple of cops with the main cop walking around, and they're holding him. He's looking like they're trying to get him to point out who they are.
A fantastic documentary about Disney. It was called Magic Kingdom by a fantastic group called Little Light Ministry. And in that documentary, they take on the film Aladdin. And in Aladdin, the theme is you've got the lady and the man, and it's this love story. And the man, Aladdin, is this thief, and he's running around stealing, and he's the good guy in the movie, and we start to like him because he's so fun and cool and nice to children and monkeys and all. I won't get into all the details. Probably most people viewing this have seen this film. But Jasmine is the young lady. She's the daughter of the king. Now, interestingly, when you think about the king and the father, you start thinking spiritual analogies here, don't you? Because Aladdin, who is a professional thief, and remember, the devil comes only to steal and kill and destroy, to steal. So we don't believe in stealing as Christians. We believe the Ten Commandments prohibit stealing, even if you're stealing because you're in need. Stealing is wrong. Well, he's trying to steal, if you will, the heart of young Jasmine from the father, who is the king, who is her authority. And he says, no one to tell us no or where to go. Do you remember hearing that in the song? And it's like, wow, that's total rebellion against the parental authority. And beyond that, it goes to the point where he takes her up on a high elevation on this magic carpet ride, and he sings to her, I can show you the world, and it's splendid. Now, wait a minute. He goes above the clouds, and he takes her up on a high elevation, and he shows her the world, and it is splendid. Now, I remember reading in Matthew 4. Have you read it? Jesus is taken up on a high elevation by somebody, and this person shows Jesus the whole world in its splendor. Word for word, showed him the world in its splendor, and in the very song in Aladdin, he shows her the world, and it's splendid. Well, who was that took Jesus up on the mountain? That was Satan. And who was it that said, I will ascend above the clouds in Isaiah 14? Is this all a coincidence? This is pretty weird stuff that this all shows up in this very same song in one particular movie. He also tells Jasmine to follow your heart. When is the last time you let your heart decide? And the Bible says clearly that the heart is deceitful above all things, and we should not let that decide anything for us. We should let the Word of God and truth and Jesus dictate, not our hearts. Then one very eye-opening thing happens in the song that really makes me go, okay, there is something going on. I don't know what's going on, but there's something going on with this song. And it goes like this. He says, I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I used to be. Now, that sounds familiar because a star in biblical prophecy represents an angel, and Lucifer is the son of the dawn, the morning star, which fell. And here you have Aladdin saying, I am like a shooting star that can't go back to where I used to be. Satan was cast out of heaven. Interesting. Well, it goes beyond that. Here it is with Jasmine. I don't know why I always make that mistake, because Aladdin grabs a piece of fruit, hands it to Jasmine, just like this is in the Garden of Eden. She looks at the fruit. Oh, how tempting. Isn't the symbolism here quite striking? So you could draw conclusions and speculate about the filmmakers of Aladdin, what they were thinking and doing, and I don't know. But I can say the fruits of that, no pun intended, are representing rebellion and the very themes of the great controversy, putting Satan as the good guy.
Wow, I never noticed that in Aladdin, but I see it now. And you know, the cat in Cinderella is named Lucifer? Not even kidding.
Hamster was found dead in a jar inside of a man's butt. Allow me to explain. This story was sent to me by a person who works in the medical field. It's New Year's Day and they're working in the surgical department of a major hospital. The day was pretty uneventful until a removal of a foreign body procedure was added to the list. They didn't think anything of it at first because, as this person explained to me, that's not too uncommon for a holiday morning. During the briefing, the surgeon explains that the item is a jar containing a hamster, and it's in a man's butt. The man, of course, claims to not remember how it got there. But interestingly, he noted that he doesn't have a hamster, and neither do any of his friends. All he remembers is that he was at a New Year's party and somehow they came into possession of the hamster in the jar.
What?
At this point, though, it was unknown whether or not the animal was dead or alive. Some people in the department were actually considering keeping it as a pet should it survive, even going so far as to add supplies for the hamster to their Amazon shopping carts. However, the hamster couldn't be taken out the way it was put in, so a laparotomy was scheduled. Basically, they remove it through his abdomen. By the time the procedure was finished, the hamster had passed.
So you're telling me that isn't just a joke from Family Guy? People actually do this?
Do you know that because of Psalm 91, early Christians didn't look at Satan as the grand architect of evil, but as kind of foolish and a downright idiot when facing Jesus? So we all know the powerful scene where Satan tempts Jesus in the wilderness, right? Testing Jesus in his identity. But ancient readers of the text may have gotten a whole different idea about Satan from this interaction that us moderns, we completely miss. And it all boils down to Satan's use of Psalm 91 during the temptation, a strategic error early Christians would have picked up on immediately. Even non-Christians know Psalm 91. It has the epic line, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Psalm 91's been around a long time. By the 6th through the 4th centuries BC, Psalm 91 was commonly recited to drive off evil spirits. And by the 3rd to 7th centuries AD, it was inscribed onto protective amulets for both Jews and Christians. When the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in 1947, there Psalm 91 was, considered one of the 4 psalms against demons used for exorcisms. Basically, Psalm 91 has been in use for a long time. But did you know that our version of Psalm 91 differs slightly from the version of Psalm 91 of Jesus' day? So during Jesus' time in Israel, the primary languages were Aramaic, Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Aramaic was the norm among common Jews. Hebrew was used by the elite for religious texts and rituals, and Greek was the primary language of the Eastern Mediterranean region, widely spoken and understood, especially among travelers, business owners, the educated, and Gentiles. Hence the reason why when the New Testament letters were written, when the Gospels were written, Greek, 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 Greek. As discussed before, it is a verifiable fact that the earliest New Testament writers based their understanding of the Old Testament on the Septuagint, a Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible that was in wide use throughout the Mediterranean world. In its initial rendering, whether it's from Moses' day, David's day, or a later writer's day, what we call Psalm 91 was about not fearing violent enemies, pestilences, or disasters, because we are with God. You shall not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, or of the destruction that wastes at noon. And that's Psalm 91, 5-6. But in the 3rd to 2nd centuries BC, when the Hebrew scriptures were translated to Greek, the Greek translators saw reference to demonic forces. And it's not because Greek translators were trying to steer the conversation a certain way. It was a simple assumption to make because vowels weren't included in the ancient Hebrew texts. So depending on what vowels were attached, the word pestilence and destruction could also be translated as thing or evil spirit. And the Greek translators, when it came to choosing between 2 different meanings, well, this is the same verse in the Septuagint. Thou shalt not be afraid of terror by night, nor of the arrow flying by day, nor of the evil thing that walks in darkness, nor of calamity and the evil spirit at noonday. Now, of course, our Bible's Old Testament nowadays is based off the Masoretic version of the Hebrew Bible created through the 6th through 10th centuries. But the original writers of the New Testament wrote in Greek, writing off a Greek text, the Septuagint. And Psalm 91 this way was their understanding of the text. So when Satan tempts Jesus in Matthew 4, 5-6, saying, hey, if you're the Son of God, jump on down because it's written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone, which is from Psalm 91, by the way. Jesus immediately fires back with Deuteronomy 6:16. Again, it's written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. That's Matthew 4:7. But Jesus knows all about Psalm 91. He knows the intent of Psalm 91, and that in context, Psalm 91 is about God's promise of his protection to those who make God their dwelling place. But 1st through 4th century Christians who based their understanding of the Hebrew Bible off the Septuagint would have also known that the very words from Psalm 91 that Satan is referencing were from a potent prayer that guarded against forces of darkness. They would have seen that Satan is quoting from a prayer that was commonly used to disempower himself. Literally, Satan could have picked out a verse from anywhere, and he cherry-picked lines from a prayer designed to drive him away. In Matthew 4, to those familiar with the Septuagint, Satan isn't coming across as a grand master and architect of evil. He's coming across as a bumbling idiot when confronting the Son of God. This isn't a cosmic battle of wits. This is showing Satan playing into Jesus' hands and being defeated from the start, called out at his own game of twisting Scripture, as if Jesus had anything to fear from such an inferior opponent. Quite likely, ancient readers probably would have had a little chuckle when reading this. So what's the lesson? Number 1, Christians should never empower a disempowered devil. Number 2, don't cherry pick verses, especially when it's going against the context of what you're pulling from. Get your butt in trouble. And 3, studying Bible history in light of culture and translation reveals so much crazy stuff about faith and belief. And it's a bit of fun. God bless. See you soon.
I sleep with Psalm 91 and Psalms 23 playing in the background. I sleep like a baby and wake up fresh. I put the download link in the description if you're interested.
Me $2 billion to not pursue what I was doing and become part of his team. Someone in the photo lab took a picture of a picture. We've proven that's what it is. It's an extraterrestrial on a dissection with a group of doctors and what look like some suits in the background.
What does the ET look like? Does it have arms? Does it have legs?
Yeah, arms,
fingers,
legs,
eyes?
head. The head is covered with a towel. Apparently it was badly mutilated. It had a weird, almost like a spine on the front, like we have a sternum that you could see, like a bumpy thing. Different hands and feet.
2 arms?
2 arms, 2
legs.
Oh yeah, not tiny. I think it was around 5 feet. It's hard to tell from this photo. I have the documents. I have the trace landing. I have the U.S. military Air Force people's testimony that were there.
What's a trace landing?
When one of these, in this case, it was an extraterrestrial vehicle, not one of the man-made ones. So we call them ETVs. For the ones that are of extraterrestrial origin. The ones that are man-made are often called ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, meaning that they're simulating energy propulsion capabilities.
The more I listen to him, the less I start believing him.
This is so funny.
Problem that has gotten so out of control that our children
This can't be real.
Throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to... Yeah. Excuse me. Come on. I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. Nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing.
Good point.
Number 2, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number 3, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash.
He's very
We
serious.
can take these steps and show the country that where we stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long. And we know it because we feel it in our bones.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
Shocker.
I admit, I started judging him immediately. But then he grew on me.
My people, what you're seeing is Terrence Howard's working model of his virtual reality patent, live in action, made over 9 years ago, because this is when he posted it. In 2015, said that there's enough energy in here, 1.21 gigawatts, to be able to time travel back to 1955. Now in this clip, we have another one of Terrence Howard's inventions, which he calls the linchpin, as you can see, right above me. Now this has a propulsion system that doesn't give off any heat or sound. Doesn't that sound familiar? Kind of like the UFOs that they describe of today. And it can even change directions and flip over without losing speed and disappear in the snap of a finger. Now, as you can see, someone called Terrence Howard's inventions futuristic, but I'm a firm believer that there's nothing new under the sun, and anything you can think of has already been done. It's just that we are now remembering. Enter the new age, baby. New sun. We getting all of our information back. Shout out to my ancestors, because I know ancient technology when I see it. Leave in the comments below. Peace and one love.
Terrence Howard took losing his role in Iron Man so serious. He's becoming Iron Man himself. Alright folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be nice to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and don't forget to like the video. And if you want to buy me coffee or support me on Patreon, the links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Peace and God bless.
I heard my baby crying for help. Stop it! I'm coming! I'm coming!
Put the goat down! Drop the goat! Oh my gosh. What is wrong with you? Dude! Hey buddy, are you okay? Are you okay? I know, that was scary. That was scary. I'm sorry. Listen, the gate is closed for a reason.